All right, guys, let's talk about point-slope form. So for point-slope form, we obviously need a point and a slope to be able to come up with an equation. Our equation looks like y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay? And if we're given a point, we know that we have x and we have y. And we can simply label them x1 and y1. The number on the far right will end up going to our point right here. And we're just going to rewrite this again so you can see where this is coming from. The number on the left, which is your x, will be the point that goes right there. For m, just a little bit of review. Know that m is slope, and we can find it in more than 3 different ways. We can just be simply given slope, or we can have the formula for slope, which is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We can also be given a formula, and we already know that y equals mx plus b. M, just m, is our slope. Or we can be given a graph, and we can get slope by looking at our rise over our run. Okay, so just a quick reminder, that's how we get slope. This is where the point comes from. If we're just given a point, you just insert those right there. So for example 1, write the point-slope form of the linear equation whose graph passes through the following points. Use exact and simplified numbers. Okay, so if we're given 2 numbers right here, we first need to find our slope, right? So given 2 numbers, we have to use this formula for slope. So we go with m is equal, write our line, okay? It says y2, so we look at our second y we have, which is 26. We subtract y1, which is the number above, it's 2. And we put it at x2, which is 8. And we subtract -4. Okay? 26 minus 2 is 24. 8 minus -4 is actually 8 plus 4, which is 12. And that becomes 2. So our slope is 2. Awesome. Now for our point, we just pick whichever one out of these 2 that we want. It doesn't matter. You just pick one of them, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and pick the first one. They're smaller numbers, and so it's just going to be easier. So we end up with y minus y1, which is 2, right there, is equal to m, which we got 2 as well, parentheses x minus x1, which is -4, which becomes +4. Then we just simply distribute like we normally would when we see parentheses, which we get 2x plus 8. Bring down my y minus 2. Add the 2 at the end. Whenever we add the 2, it's the same thing as just doing the arrow form, which means you're going to flip the sign, just so you guys remember. Y is equal to 2x plus 10 becomes my answer for this one. Now I'm going to show you guys how to check your answers. So you can go to desmos.com like we normally do, and you're just going to plot your points, okay? So you're going to click on the first line and plot your points. And it's going to be -4, 2, and then go to the next one, and we're going to put 8, 26. All right, so we have our both points right there. And so now I'm going to write the equation that we got, which is y is equal to 2x plus 10. And I'm going to look at my graph that I got, and I can see that both points right there and right there made it onto the line. So I know that is correct. All right, so now example 2. What if they just give you a graph, okay? Right here, we're actually pretty good because we are given a graph that's not only labeled, but if we look to see if it's actually numbered correctly, so this is -2, it's 1, 2, it is correct. It's not like going by 5s or anything like that crazy. So I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm just going to go ahead and get my slope using the graph method instead of using the formula method. So I want to get from this point to this point, so I ended up going down 1, 2, 3, 4. I ended up going down 4, so that's negative 4 over, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that becomes my slope. I can also plug this in to the formula just like normal, and I would end up with the correct answer. It doesn't matter, just whatever way is easier for you. Pick one, go with it, whatever works, okay? So now to get my equation, again, I'm going to go with y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And again, it doesn't matter which point you choose, just choose one of them and go with it, okay? So I'm going to choose the 3, 1, just because I think it might be easier. I'm not sure. And I'm just going to plug it in. So I'm going to have y minus, and this is y1, so I'll get my y point, and it's negative 1. Don't forget, double negative, because it comes with 1 already in the equation, and then the negative 1 has 1 also. They each get their own, okay? Then my m is negative 4 fifths. Then x minus x1, which ends up being 3. Don't use the x of one point and the y of the other. You have to stay with the same point throughout the whole equation. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and multiply this throughout. And so go ahead and pause the video, check your work, because it's just algebraic work right now, and see if you get it right. So this is what I got. I got y equals negative 4 fifths plus 7 fifths. And again, you can plug in these points to decimals, plug in your equation. If it falls right on top of it, then you're good. All right, and that's it.